Good afternoon. I apologize for starting a little late. I finally fixed my audio issues, hopefully, so nobody should have to turn up their earbuds to 100% to hear me speak. In any case, on today's stream, I'll be doing more stage design work for Freedom Planet Academy, the campaign that's attached to Shangri-La Architect, and as well as doing some more things on the back end. Like, I'll just work on the stage some more and then like close it to do some other work, such as maybe tweaking stage 4's boss some more, which is finished. We're just trying to make it nicer, with the realization that you can't do anything about the fact that Lilac is undefeatable at a high level, so don't try to design a boss expressly to punish Lilac and make it impossible for anyone else to tackle. Yes, as well as some cutscene work. So that should be pretty interesting for anyone who wants to see like behind the scenes code. Like, again, I do expect that my streams will be more in line with interests from people who just generally like to see how video games work. I don't expect it to have much entertainment value outside of it. Like, I'm not loud, I don't smash shelves on stream and react wildly, and don't set pieces of paper on fire for effect. Just I make games in my little corner. If you want to watch that, you're more than welcome to come. I apologize for it being so random, though. I'm trying to make this a more scheduled thing that we'll be doing. That way, this would be less of an... consistency is very key. Like, if I do expect any viewership in the general Freedom Planet fandom who might be interested in watching a Freedom Planet game be made, you need to be pretty consistent for those outliers, as well as the people inside, the dedicated communities. And there are many, I assure you. Alright, so let's get started. This level over here. One thing that really took me by surprise with making a video game of this scope is that making a proper level is basically a month-long project. Like, if you were just being absolutely dedicated, you are giving it your all the attached cutscenes, all the background art, the tile sets, the enemies that will be exclusive to the level, pretty much everything. It's just there is so much that goes into the level. It's quite something, if not surreal, to see it all coming together. And you're of course also happy with the level layouts you make. Like, quite naturally, now that I've gotten this far into the project, I've gotten very picky about levels. So as you can probably see, if you've watched last time and still remember the layout somehow, I've changed some things to be a little more streamlined, hopefully more fun. I felt like I was just designing the stage with streamer brain last time, and there were just some things that clearly didn't flow well. So that's something I hope to address today as well, just putting more of my focus on making the stage layout, but also entertaining questions and stuff in the chat. But also having interesting things to say for people who might also be watching VODs. I know that's a thing, people who watch streams retroactively. And it feels like it would be a wasted opportunity to not talk about the process while you're doing it. If you're just watching somebody do the thing and you're just wow, but what's the thought process? What's the rationale for any of this? It's just kind of missing the other half of the puzzle piece. That's very important to me. Being able to share the rationale for why I make certain decisions. So Yes, okay, we've been live for about 5 minutes now, so given the fact that I've set the stream to a buffer, like maybe now it will start to appear live for everyone. But you know, I'm here to do this regardless of viewership counts, like just really want people to be able to see the process. Okay, and yeah, this is another big thing I did, like before the stream, was making this area. I was like, yeah, like we need to take advantage of our mountain tile set rock pieces to like make a roller coaster section for the stage, because like just been doing a lot of flat, mostly uneventful terrain to like introduce players to certain mechanics, and you know, kind of like this pinwheel that we have here. Stop wrinkling my nose. Don't know why I developed that habit just a couple months ago. Yeah, and like the runaway NPCs do need some flat spaces to run as well. But I'm not gonna like spam them throughout the stage. It's gonna be like here and there you'll see one of the characters commenting. You know, kind of like to reinforce the fact that you were in a race with the girls. Like, it's a non-committal thing. You know, it's just like implied that it's a thing, but there's no actual pressure to like beat anybody. Just a fun little story thing. You know, it's just funny to see Lilac see one of her best phrases from FP1 in a context that's no longer just, you know, a little funny Easter egg. And that was still a very good Easter egg. I loved just, you know, standing on top of the bird skeleton mini boss in Relic Maze, and just watching Lilac say, "Catch me if you can," and the whole thing just falls apart. It's really funny. And I think it was also used for Spade's boss fight as well, which is just really funny. Oh, hello, Kuya. Good to see we got some people here today. Now, yeah, let's get started with the roller coaster section. And this is also the part of the game where I can start making the boost rings like more prevalent in the stage design. Like I had to hold back and not use these at all for stage 1, and that kind of hurt because I wanted them to be an exciting new thing that you run into in Toxic Tunnel. And then we just kind of take a break from certain gimmicks and go back to fundamentals for stage 3. While also introducing the existence of spikes, you know, things like that. Just trying not to throw too much at the player at once. And stage 3 is also like an original stage design by InBlast, one of Freedom Planet's alpha backers. And I think he might have a journalism background too. It's been 10 years. Like, InBlast basically made stage 3 like years and years ago. It was such a good level that, you know, it was like the level to play before there was like any campaign content basically. So we decided to elevate it to a canon level pretty much for the Academy. I'm still pretty happy to have it too. Like, and he was also happy that it became a canon level. All I did was just like spruce up some scenery pieces because like at the time they made the stage there just weren't enough pieces to work with, so I fixed that and like just kind of updated it to like maybe what cosmetic choices he would have made. And later on I had to like remove a bunch of NPCs too, because like, wait a minute, I didn't realize I added that many to the stage. It's kind of cumbersome. Like, yes, you do kind of want to throw them here and there in like alternative paths for people, because it's just, it gives people like more incentive to explore alternative paths, like in little safe spots that a character might be trapped in, like you know, it's a dangerous situation or just hunkered down or just being silly off in their own little corner. At least in stages where that would make sense, like the Academy. Like I left in that little Easter egg with Chiasa and Cook just playing a game of checkers together, and because you know it's like really far off the beaten path. A lot of stuff I removed, and yeah, so that's stage 3 story. Now we get to have a lot of fun with boost rings, and might need to be careful with like the big shotgun hyper boost rings. I mean, hyper boost rings. Yes, these are a lot of fun because you know they make explosions when you go through them. And who doesn't love explosions? Just they're so much fun. It's not Freedom Planet if something isn't blowing up, you know? Of course, I may have doubled down on that a bit much in this fan game. I try not to like hyperfixate on certain details because, let's see, oh, text message, let's see. Oh, let's see, see, just 1 second, y'all. This might be where I'm just gonna. Oh, yes. All right. Now back to it. Let's have ourselves a little fun with this setup here, just to demonstrate what this level's about. Oh, those silly bees. Or wasps, rather. Oh, of course there is a little collision problem here. I wonder what I did wrong. Yeah, that could be a factor. Just, like, unfortunately, there are some limitations with my collision system I still need to deal with. That should fix it. Didn't happen last time. That is so strange. It's only happening at high speeds. I'm guessing the layering. Oh yeah, these are probably too close to it, so it could be changing layers too quickly. Oh, hello, creeper. Then just we'll do this instead. Hopefully so none of the sensors related to the player are touching these too early. Yeah, that was it. Well, so far so good. 13 minutes into the stream, just explained a bunch of stuff that y'all can see in the VOD later, and now I'm like actually trying to do stuff. Oh no. I have to commit to things. So yes, let's figure out what we're doing here. Now, how do I want to make this fun? And you don't want to spam these too much. Like, I love the noise they make, but we could not overdo it. Oh, okay. So, yes. Also need to make sure they're not like too thin connection either. Because you do want nice horizontal movement. You know, it feels kind of janky when the camera is constantly like hopping up and down while you're going through these things. Now, what else am I thinking of? Oh boy. Oh lord. I'll be right back, y'all. I hate scheduling things and other things come up anyway. There we go. Sorry about the delay, y'all. Some real life stuff with another person I know, like some good news, so it's good to hear from them. But in any case, yes, let's make this level. Yeah, Maylite. Oh, thank you. Oh, I see a Dusky emote there. Aw. Yes, now, let's go crazy with some rocks. How about that, y'all? Oh, I'm sure, like, Dusky's made plenty of them since I've last watched their streams. It's been a while. Like, just naturally, the emotes are gonna pile up. Until eventually you just do the Carol, oh my god face, like, oh wow, that's that's a lot. So many emotes. So many ways to express our emotions and feelings on the internet that unironically help me a lot when communicating tone. Oh, hey Argo. Always good to see another friend on the stream. Yeah, you haven't missed much like actual stage design stuff yet, mostly just explaining my rationale for a lot of things. And explaining what I changed since the last time I streamed the level. This stuff, I've been doing a lot of unglamorous back-end things, and today, like after the stream, I'm going to try implementing the Spanish translation for a lot of the UI stuff for Shangri-La Architect as well. Like, we have a very dedicated volunteer who's like got most of the work done, so I'm just gonna like go ahead and get most of it set up now. So all I have to do is just add in the finishing touches as they happen for me, and that's gonna be pretty exciting. Like, just imagine a fan game with like translations built in. Like, it doesn't happen too often, as far as I know. Like, we're gonna have Portuguese, Polish, and Brazilian Portuguese rather, and Polish and Spanish. And let's see, I'm trying to think. It'd be nice to round it off with French too. Oh, oh, and that's all right, Akuyo. Yep, I got called on stream, no less. So. Oh. Let's see, so we have this, that, wait, that's right, exciting stage design. Yeah, we've got enough flat terrain to work with lately. Or at least here, like, I'm probably not going to have another runaway NPC for a pretty good stretch, so we don't need like a whole lot of simple terrain for the runaway NPC to get away on. We can go crazy. How about something more geometrically interesting? As I like to call it. It's probably not, proper language for this sort of thing. I don't know. Oh, here I am worrying about the cosmetics without even, making sure that the layout is fun first. At the same time, though, it kind of feels bad just running across like a bunch of sketchy blocks. So I'm weird. So so we can have this right here. Got the Metroidvania brain going right now. Not sure if that's a good idea, though. Freedom Planet is not Castlevania. Oh, yes, we should have some terrain. Oh yeah, I wanted to transition to... Yeah, maybe we could transition to... Oh wait, I wanted to save the grassy area. Oh yeah, I had to tweak the NPCs recently because they were like running too slow. They were too easy to catch up with. So like they went from being just 16 pixels per frame, like the normal speed limit, to 20, just so they can like actually get away from you. I've had somebody say like, "Oh, this still feels like it goes against the laws of nature," and I'm over here just like, um, just trying to explain. Well, this is Freedom Planet, where girls walk up walls, hair can destroy armor, um, just bikes can drive up ladders, and giant mechanical robots aren't considered an enormous waste of economic resources. Because if you really think about it in real life, I feel like the reason nobody makes giant mechs of anything is because just think about it. Like there is so much money that is just spent on maintaining tanks and aircraft. Like every flight hour results in like so many other extra hours of maintenance, like hours of maintenance for every hour that they're flown. And that's considering they're like pretty static bodies with like lots of moving parts on the inside. So just imagine like scaling that up to a mech with like oh yeah, what's a bad idea? Just scaling it up to a mechanical robot with like probably literally 50,000 or more moving parts. So like for every hour that thing is running, it's probably going to be in the shop for another 16. Just making sure all of those parts with like the complexity level of like the US space shuttle, just spending months in the shop getting fixed between very short excursions. And I just don't see that being practical, at least with our current technology. Oh, we'll be entering the cave probably around like map 3. We're still inside map 1 where I'm just kind of like introducing players just to new things. But oh yeah, we're gonna get to that part eventually. So, oh, here we go. So, what do I want to do? I think I could use like one of these. Yeah, I do need to consider like how all of this can branch out too. Like that's very important. But at least in Freedom Planet's case, you can just kind of like worry about the main path and then worry about your detours, which is quite a saving grace for the time spent on levels in this project. I feel like the reason a lot of Sonic fan games don't get finished, sadly, is because like if you really think about it, like every Sonic level is a layer cake of multiple levels all interweaved into each other. It's incredibly complicated, and I don't know how people like make full-sized, full-scoped Sonic stages and not lose their minds. I think it's a big factor why a lot of Sonic fan games don't get finished, because it's like real easy to prototype stuff and make a game that feels good and weighty and deliberate. It's like, oh, I've got the perfect Sonic physics. I've got all of this playing the way I want. Feels good. But then you go to make like an actual Sonic level and realize you've got basically a Metroidvania overworld to make for every stage, and it's like, oh my god. You've got a labyrinth of like 3 different levels that are all stitched together and have detours that connect to each other. And you've got to revise all that as you go and find out like what flows well into each other. And it helps that Sonic is kind of slow and deliberate. Ironically, like you kind of have to earn your speed in classics, and so that means like a lot of your labyrinths don't have to be particularly big. So you can have like a lot of those little cramped room areas like in Sonic 3 and be just fine. Whereas with the Freedom Planet, so like you just got like everything has to be roomy. There is no way around that. I tried Sonic 3 like stage design with the earlier the earlier iterations of Stage 1 and 2. It just didn't work. Like, they weren't bad levels, as some people told me, but they just didn't feel like Freedom Planet, so... Yeah, so everything has to be big in Freedom Planet, which means more scenery pieces and everything. And if you want to zoom out the camera, too, that's, like, even more tiles you have to consider, so that there's lots of nice stuff to look at when you zoom out. Oh, hello there. I see another emote. Oh Lord. Hello, Alice Dance. Yes, so let's I need to think about what I'm doing. If I'm just making stage design with streamer brain, I'm going to be questioning myself later. Like, why did I do that? Like, well, you were basically making stage design as if you were asleep. Okay, so we have this. That feels good. Aw. Yeah, that's right. We do have an NPC template sheet, so... Yeah, if you want to make more NPCs to add, it's pretty easy now. We can have all the babies we want in this little Freedom Planet. Oh, and your digital art gets better too, Cleo. I've noticed, like, with each NPC that you've submitted, like, your pixel art gets a lot cleaner. Like, I remember with your first NPC, like, there was lots of duplicate colors and stuff everywhere, but then with, like, more later submissions, like, well, I don't have any revision work to do here, I just need to make their mouths move, but this is good. Oh Lord, Alice Dance, what are you gonna do? Yeah, I think the NPC templates in like the Shenmue Architect chat, like in the pins. So like there should be a template. You could just make any deformed creature and provide a description for the emotion, for the different emotions they have. So I can type that into the editor side. Well, this has Avalis too. There's going to be lots of weird people on this planet. Just think about, like, our very real planet Earth, just how many just zany creatures that are here. And, we're largely just one homogeneous species of, like, varying backgrounds. And so just imagine, like, a planet like Avalis, which has, like, multiple species of, like, humanoid creatures. It's just... that would lend itself to all kinds of possibilities. Possibilities some people probably don't even want to think about. Just... Oh Lord, Spamton as a shoe bill would be amazing. Just that has so much chaotic energy to it. I can see it already. Yeah, you should try making an OC creeper. It's a lot of fun. Like, just Look at what I did. I got like little Stella the mouse here, and got Savvy that I've done. And I made a female bird guard, wah, instead of wah. And then we've got. I need to make more original NPCs myself. Like a lot of these are just y'all's work, really. Y'all's characters. There's Chiasa. Original the kitty, do not steal. And Jet. Our bootleg Lilac. And then little Marshmallow. A little boy Mila, pretty much. And they're all themed around like the CMYK like color scheme, which made it pretty fun to work with when you pick a color theme to go with, like, and make a trio with it. It's pretty fun. Oh, and I guess I can't stop the Alice dance, like, people to steal them. Oh no. But if you think about it, that's basically what I did with my OCs too. It's just like, not very obvious on the surface, but just look at Lilac and Jet. Artists do this thing, like, called creative stealing. It's like, oh, I love this character and the spirit of this. How could I do this myself? Just have my own version of this character that I could use, like, for spiritual sequels of things and whatnot. So I made a doppelganger of Lilac, who's like the evil, grinning, lawful evil version of her, pretty much. They would not like each other, I guarantee you. They would not. But yeah, sorry for the tangent. I guess I never got past the part of my childhood where you play with toys and you do that sort of thing. But now I just kind of do that in video games instead. Little Miss Anti-Hero Pants. I like that. She is very much that. And I guess she could be on the chaotic neutral side of Kuyo. I guess she could. It's probably more accurate because, like, she's a goober, but she'll also do the right thing, but maybe not in the way you would have liked her to. You've got a person on your hands who handles things with explosions and evil grins, just that lends itself to all kinds of things. Oh wait, no, it's too visually crowded to add a Tori here. What am I thinking? Stage layout first. Yeah, make a good layout. So, oh my god, the thought of Lilac and Carol doing a fusion dance is just... that's a very cursed mental image. I know Lilac would not be a willing participant. But that is just funny to imagine. Yeah, and I've got to fix how this particular loop piece is indexed, because, like, the collision system will freak out if they're not connected in this janky way, so fix that at some point. In the meantime, you can be an idiot and hide that. Ooh. Oh, better idea. Why are you just doing that game? Oh no. Okay, so then hide the original. This is like what stage design looks like when you realized you made a big mistake with the tile set, but you still got to make the game. So you hide your crazy little shenanigans. That's what you do. and the player will never notice unless they're like digging in the game files themselves and be like, hey, wait a minute, like how did they make that work, but I can't make that work. And then you just look at how patchy everything is on the inside. It's like, oh no, this video game is held together with duct tapes and broken screws and eggshells and Elmer's glue. Oh no. It's really hard to find a finished game that has like really clean looking code, honestly. Like Freedom Planet 2 is like one of the more fortunate games, and like, yeah, I've been told like the collision system is a black box nobody wants to even open, like, ever, but everything else is like really clean. The modders haven't had too many issues working with the game, which is just impressive, because like, you know, when you think of, you know, games like pretty much anything from Bethesda's output, you know, just imagining what those poor modders have gone through. Well, no, it wouldn't be weird if you created a Red Scarf's leader, because, like, you know, again, the Freedom Planet canon is like, there aren't enough games to really establish who is who in the grand scheme of things in this world. So we've got creative license to do that. And I've seen one such character already. I think, like, somebody created a... I'm pretty sure it was a fan. Pretty sure somebody created a Red Scarf's leader named Heart, which is it's pretty neat. You know, like going with playing cards as a theme. But like, yeah, you could do that. Like, I would have trouble finding a spot for them in the canon world, but you know, nothing stops you from making it a thing that other people can use for their stages. And you can be like, hey, look, see, I made this. This is a thing that is in a real life video game, and I made it. You know, just it's there for everyone to see. Oh yeah, that's right, I was making a level. I have difficulty like talking and actively doing things at the same time. Oh yeah, if we wanted a Freedom Planet 3 that was like somehow bigger than the original, like, oh god, it's even worse if they wanted to do it in 3D. Like, just like, I will just quote Darth Vader, do not want. Like, you would probably need a team of like 70 people at a minimum to get that done in like 5 years or so. Because like, given like Freedom Planet 2's development cycle, it's pretty clear that if you want a game that big, like that you probably couldn't achieve that in a timely manner with like 30 people. Like, it's a game of that scope is just incredible. Like, in my case at least, you know, I'm working like Freedom Planet 1 scaled stuff, so as long as I'm keeping the scope of any particular level reasonable, I can make one entire stage with attached cutscenes per month. Just be focused, don't get sidetracked with enriching the game's feature set. Just make level, and 1 month, done. Got it all in the back, just done. Whereas with Freedom Planet 2, it's like everything is so huge. Yeah, I would love a spin-off as well, Alice Stance. Okay. I guess this fan game counts as one, really. Oh my god, a kart race. I think there's a lot of people who've been, like, you know, wanting that pretty badly, but oh lord, it costs money, and 3D artists are not cheap. Oh lord. Oh. Oh, webcomic would also be good. And hello, operator. Good to see you. Oh yeah, that's right. We do have SRB2 card, and all of the Freedom Planet characters are already in it. Oh yeah, Webtoon would also work for Freedom Planet. That's very true. Also, like, like we've got like Chicken Nugget and other shows to look at and be like, yeah, this is pretty possible with a somewhat reasonable budget. Like, if they just have money, God, the things they could do with that. Just oh, I have the cursed mental image of a Chicken Nugget style Freedom Planet on Webtoon. Carol would be like the star of the show, just hands down. I think we can all agree to that, couldn't we? Oh. Oh yeah, I feel like anybody in Red Scarves would obviously have like an identity, an alternative identity. Like I could absolutely see that. Like you just want to protect yourself, and it's not unusual in the real world for people to put on disguises for particular events that they need to go to. Like it just. Wait, Chicken Nuggets on Netflix now? Oh lord. I guess they finally got a big budget. And, Yeah, Freedom Planet was like the same thing for me, Alice Dance. It was like it definitely inspired me to draw a lot of stuff again in general, and eventually I did make my own OCs, but mostly like within a functional context. Like I wanted it to be useful for something, like Savvy Marigold. Like she exists purely as a sport character, and she also Jet and Marshmallow. They exist as like a creative exercise. Just wanted to see what I could do if I made my own Freedom Planet trio, and with the help of our friends, like I think we did pretty good. Like she also just felt like lightning in a bottle, just nailed the character design in one shot. And then Jet and Marshmallow needed a lot more work to be as appealing as they are to some people now. Like Traylena and Rocket Potato were very helpful with Marshmallow and Jet. Like the ideas were there, I just didn't have the character portions or the colors to really make them shine. Like it definitely showed that my character design work still has more work. Needs more work, rather. Aw. Yeah, I still remember I drew one like years ago. It's good to know he's still around. Being a character, a creature of sorts. And let's see. Oh, it's a different chicken nugget. Oh. Well, I guess it's helpful that chicken nugget that I'm familiar with on Twitter, like, purposely misspelled their show title. Just don't gotta worry about, brand confusion. Oh yeah, like, you'll definitely get plenty to chew on in that regard, Cecil. Like, there's... Like, it's a much bigger world than Freedom Planet 2. It just, like, it's probably not as deep as some people wanted, but it's there. Like, there's a lot to see him do in it. Like, you'll definitely be picking at it for a while, because it's just such a big game. That's probably more intimidating than anything else, I think. Just the sheer magnitude of what was achieved here. This is a very rare moment in the indie scene where, like, the bedroom coders and artists of the world just put together an enormous video game. Like, you just don't see that very often. Probably won't see it again for a long time, too. Like, this... again, it's a rare event. Yeah, you did just make me think, Creeper, like, given the fact that I do want to make a campaign for Spade, there might be a spot in the story for such a character if you make him. Like, he would, like, actually be a character you could see in the campaign, just only on Spade's side, because, well, now the girls are not part of the Red Scarves anymore, so they're not too worried about the politics of that thing anymore. Like, they're just not involved, you know? Hmm. So yeah, like if you do make them like that, I just realized, oh yeah, we would have a place for such a character. Hmm. Like I don't know to what extent that the Red Scarves would be involved in the story, but like there will be like Red Scarves hideouts that Spade can go to throughout his story. It's like instead of going to the normal hubs and train stations, he would be like basically like the more underground like areas of Freedom Planet's world. So you'd get like an entirely different perspective on what's going on in Freedom Planet's world through like the underground, kind of like the underground NPC hubs with Shovel Knight's Plague Knight campaign, which was really interesting. By the way, I loved it. That's kind of the energy I'm going for here. Like just should should be fun to play with something like that myself. Just like a post-release style campaign update for the fan game. It's kind of in the spirit of Plague Knight, except Spade is like even more of an outlaw. At least with Plague Knight, like yeah, he's like a charming little goober. You just love him. Like the way he reaches into chest and his legs stick out. And the way he dances with his stubby little legs. He's so funny and goofy and well-meaning too. Like just that story had a lot of heart to it. I know it wasn't like a commercially successful campaign, but it touched me in a way that I don't think many other video games have. It really reached out and grabbed me. Like Yacht Club games really, like they just kind of put the final nail in the coffin of me believing that, just video game stories don't have to have effort put into them. Just make good game first, and ideally, yes, you should still make a good game first. But when a story can also be really good, it just elevates the entire experience, and you can't ever stop thinking about it. Like you just with some games, you walk away from the desk almost feeling like something inside of you has changed as well. It's a good story can be really impactful. It's just a lovely thing. Mm. Mm. Oh, yeah, just reading your comment now, Susler. Mm. Oh, I can imagine it being more relatable now that you have a romantic partner. That's very. Yeah, I can see that personally. Like, it's gonna be a long time before I could entertain the idea of such a thing myself, but Plague Knight still spoke to me so much. I agree, Argo. Like, Carmack's famous phrase is, it's funny, but it's not really true at the end. Like, video games are not like smut. People do in fact actually really come for the story. If you have a compelling premise, people want to check out the game. Like, yeah, there's still people who will come just for the game itself anyway. Like, we see it all the time in the platform space. Like, even with Freedom Planet, a lot of people just like came there to snort the video game content and only that. Like that's a thing. But that's But I feel like most people really do come for the story. Like, video games didn't really take off as more than a niche little toy novelty until their storytelling was possible. Like, I remember reading about like people playing the first Legend of Zelda for the very first time, and some people were crying because it was like the most immersive experience of its kind at the time. It was very special. Like, we probably look at that game now and think, "Oh my god, like, wow, this is like old, crusty video game. I could barely move in it. Oh my god, it's so stiff and funny." But at the time, it was like such a revolutionary piece of video game. Like, it stood out and spawned like one of the most highest grossing franchises of all time. Like, so yeah, story matters in games, I think. If you can make a story that feels like it matters to people, like, they will come for that. Let's see. Oh yeah, you'll definitely feel more motivated to work on that if you feel like there's more than just a carrot and a stick on the other end. It's like, oh hey, this character could actually be used for something. You know, it's kind of exciting, isn't it? Like, oh, if I do this, you know. And if you have trouble with the shading, but you know, we could probably help out with that. It wouldn't be the first time I've shaded some people's NPCs. I don't mind doing that, honestly. Like, just having character designs to work with already saves like so much development time and helps enrich the experience because like there's more diverse character designs. And I feel like with video games in particular, it's kind of difficult to make like an entire cast of characters by yourself, especially with the scope of what a video game is. So, where's my train of thought? Just, but yeah, it's no, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, it's probably more exciting now that you have an idea your character might be used, and it's more than welcome. Like, it just, oh, now I got my train of thought back. I feel like multi-person video game teams are like probably the best because like no matter how good you are as an individual developer yourself, like you only have so much personal background inspiration to draw from. Whereas when you get your friends or some other people involved with a game project, like they can bring their inspiration and background to the table, and the world starts to feel more alive as all of this starts to coalesce together. Because now you've got like, you know, a diverse realm of characters with all these different personality traits and body types that you wouldn't have even thought of yourself. And it's just like, and that makes a very artistically rich experience, I think, when like any number of people come together to make something. It's very special. I kind of consider some of my favorite games to be like an event of their own because, like, you know, forming these big teams sometimes is quite a project of its own, really. Like, you can just go look at any movie casting and you can see that they spend months agonizing like over who's going to be in the film and who they can convince to join the cast. Sometimes certain people don't want to play certain roles, like it's just not their thing, creatively speaking. Like, I remember Patrick Stewart really didn't want to be one of the X-Men characters, but he had to be convinced to play that role. It's understandable, you know, because like there's just like, especially when you're a successful actor, you do kind of get a little bit more choice in what you want to do. and what you're okay with spending hundreds of hours of your life on. And I think that's worth respecting. Oh, and Akuyo, as for the NPC template, if the sprites are too big, just like make the sprite sheet bigger, but like make sure the boundary boxes for each sprite frame are the same. And as long as all of that is the same, and you've made note of it on the sheet itself, you notice there's like a dimensions text being listed. Like as long as all of that is correct, the like we can have NPCs of any size. The template is just a template. Like, so if you want a bigger NPC, you can do that. You just need to make the sheet bigger and make note of like the size of the boxes. That way the sheet system can like properly crop out frames in real time. Like that's the tedious part, is making sure that's correct so that your sprite frames don't animate funny when they're inside the real video game. And, so just looking at some more comments. Oh yeah, see Slarp, if you find yourself getting comfy with pixel art, like if your OCs would be welcome too. Like just like one thing I'm trying not to emphasize too much with the fan game, but just one of the core things about it is like this is a game for the community, by the community, more or less. It's one of my many motivations for finishing it, because I feel like y'all deserve more Freedom Planet games, and I happen to be standing on the shore of this kind of thing being done. Just so yeah, just I'm slowly making this a reality, and it's kind of nice when the community can also have their own touches in it, because again, I feel like it makes the experience more artistically rich. I think I may have had one person like comment on, this is weird, I don't remember if I saw this on a real internet thing on social media or if I had literally dreamt it. I feel like I have done the latter. I've seen it. I think I saw somebody commenting on how weird some of the character designs are, and I'm just thinking, well, yeah, I could stand to make more OCs myself. That way we could have like more, I guess, like I don't think consistency is the right word here, just more designs that I know would be in line with Freedom Planet. Just like I could stand to spend more time on that. I'm just trying to get the campaign together. But at the same time, some of these designs are good and just like really good. I wanted to include these, and you don't have to engage with every NPC you don't like. Just you can literally just run past them, don't speak to them. If they look weird to you, like just don't interact. Like in real life, if you're in real life, on the streets, and somebody looks really strange to you, you could be like, "Oh, a stranger dates," or just run away. Just engage with the NPCs that you do vibe with. Again, if you think certain ones don't fit into your idea of what a Freedom Planet character should look like, well, I could just quote that famous Mario Maker meme: "Make it yourself if you're so smart." I cut out all the punchy language, but just if you really want like a game that fits within your exact expectations for a Freedom Planet game, just make it yourself. Like, you can do that. Like this stream, like right here, this is like proof. Like, look, you can make a Lilac run around and do things. You could make a Freedom Planet game. Just like grab Sonic Worlds Next and Godot and just import some sprite sheets and go ham. Have some fun. Hmm. Oh my god, a cook having a stranger danger moment would be kind of funny and even ironic in some ways. Just oh wait, no, you're thinking about if he was like an example of stranger danger rather than him teaching us about it like, directly. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think there is a place for more realism in anthropomorphic designs. Honestly, like just look at Maria Note. She's got hybrid arms and wings, and they look very good. Unfortunately, most anime artists aren't prepared for that, so they struggle with it really hardcore. But it's a very compelling, unique design, uh, daring even I would say artistically, and they pulled it off. So yeah, like realism, where it makes sense, can like do a lot to make a character feel more tangible in some ways. I think because with a lot of anthropomorphic designs, like a lot of stuff is so abstracted you almost forget what species half of these characters are. Like just look at Sybil and think like, what combination of species are you? Then like very good character design by the way. I have like if there's any character um, that would be the finest example of a good multi-species hybrid, like Sybil is your gal. But yeah, with like generally anthropomorphic designs can be pretty vague. Like if you just look at any of the Sonic characters and think, wait, would anyone really know that Sonic is a hedgehog if they didn't put it on literally all of the promotional material? Like that is the question I pose to y'all. Like, would we really have assumed offhand that he wasn't just Mickey with cat ears? Or Astro Boy's persona, whatever punchy thing you want to describe it as. And I guess with Knuckles it's a lot more obvious, of course, because his dreads are both a good combination of a real life hairstyle and like representing the spines of the species. Like you could look at Knuckles and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely an echidna. But then you look at Sonic and Avy and you're just like, well, that's a weird looking cat. Just... oh, so you meant like art. So Argo. So you meant like him ironically teaching you. That's even funnier, I think. Just the thought of him being like that. He's like as like Prototype described to me. He's basically like a shitpost character. Just like so. There's a lot of creative license to do things like that with him. just just as long as he is. Proper gremlin. Like you can't go too wrong. I just try to avoid making him be too spicy. Just, like there's plenty of other contexts where we can have video games like that. This Freedom Planet is not one we can go too hardcore with spice, but there's plenty of ways to get across that he is a turbo goofer, and I love him still. Like I would say it's a fantastic mark of character design if you could make a trash can a compelling character. You've done something. Just something remarkable, I would say. If you could make a walking, talking trash can, just a character who's like noteworthy like that. Oh yeah, that's right. In the Sonic movie, Sonic does say meow. I forgot they like actually lampshaded that. That's funny. They knew what they were doing. Oh Lord. Oh yeah, that's right. this. Here we go. Oh, but too high. There we go. That should look good. Now let's see what this. Oh, I need to click save on this. Oh my god. Didn't save. So I just saved twice like I do in Pokemon. I'm terrible like that. So, okay, here's our terrain. Just kind of made like some generalized terrain for enemies to fight you on. Because this is like a good opportunity to maybe introduce the ring hammer before I introduce, like, use him more extensively. Oh yeah, that's right, we can use springs. We don't have to settle for... Yeah. Oh, I'm getting ideas. The problem of like having a game of this complexity is sometimes you forget all the tools that are available to you. You just start making stuff and like, wait, I could have springs and stuff in here. Oh, it's over. Oh yeah, you could absolutely do that, Sea Slurp. Like Freedom Planet 2 does that in a way that's pretty compelling. It shows that you can integrate more realistic character traits and still have a cute, compelling character. Like, nobody expected Maria not to take off. Like, they just, they were, in fact, I think probably just a little worried, you know, like, this is pretty novel. Just not your typical Anthrobat, you know? And then, you know, they just make a tiny little Twitter post about her and it blows up like fire. And it's just like, oh, well, you got a popular character here. I'm sorry, she only has one line or two the whole game. I'm so sorry. But if there's ever Freedom Planet 3, like, yeah, they're probably gonna, like, incorporate more of her in there. And that's one thing I want to do with the Academy campaign too, is like have Maria Notte be like a regular presence in the story. Like, not in all the cutscenes, of course, just, you know, wherever a journalist could realistically go, like, she's gonna be there. She's gonna be all over that story. She's got to get that scoop. So, what can I do here? Oh yeah, here's like an enemy section, basically. Oh yeah, I could use springs and stuff to like create an upper path to go up to, and have it like slope back down to this area and converge. That would be a good idea. So, So yeah, definitely make Anthros with more animal features. Like, people want it. It can be done well. And I'd like to see more of it myself, honestly. Just like, could you imagine, you know, like a horse NPC like designed with like that in a way that isn't basically a human body with a horse head on it for effect, you know, like, I don't have the imagination to pull that off, but somebody out there probably does. I suppose the most obvious path there is a centaur character. It's, you know, half human, half horse. Or half goat in some cases. I think most centaurs are half goats. My mythology is kind of rusty. Wait, that's right. Just have regular spring. Then have bootstrings. Now, if I'm not careful, I will do a dimps and be like speed booster everywhere, but instead it's like rings. Just rings everywhere. Let's see like how a normal running thing. Okay, so yeah, most people are probably gonna miss the path, but I could like, oh, there's a funny idea. What if I took that into account? Try it again. Ooh, here we go. That way, like, we can just have like the upper path be the preferred one. But if you want to be, you know, yourself and explore, like, yeah, you could just go around the spring, easy peasy, or just drop down, one way or another. Then, I have not done an elaborate setup of sort of thing in a while. That would be fun. Be really fun. So, so we'll have this here. Yeah, I really should have the grid open. I'm also going to need a lot of scenery pieces to go with this setup so that people can orient themselves while they're going through it. Because if all you can see is the background while you're doing this sort of stuff, you feel like you're making a blind jump. And nobody likes that, especially in a platformer, a 2D one. Like, you want to feel like you know where you're going at any given time, so that's one utility that scenery pieces have, I think, in these kinds of games. As long as you don't overdo it like I did with the first versions of certain levels. Like, that was my mistake. But it's still a very useful thing. Like, it's why I think Mario Maker only, like, puts down scenery automatically. So that, yeah, there's just enough scenery for players to orient themselves and while they're making the big jumps, and keeps the environment artistically interesting too. And at the same time, it's not over cluttered. Like, you still have a nice clean layout that's easy to read, and you've got some things to look at along the way. It's nice. And I could probably stand to have something like that too in Shame the Architect when I finally get the auto tiling brush to work. Like, that would be really fun. Like, you can just place flat surfaces, like in Mario Maker. That's the idea. Like, any flat surface tiles that are like 32 by 32 or 16 by 16, you could just place them down. The game will figure out like what needs to be a corner piece, wall piece, floor piece, etc., as you go. And like for floor tiles, I could also have it auto-generate scenery pieces. Now, as it is, we do have a stamps system that also helps with placing like more complex scenery, but you know, that's like a completely separate tool thing here. So just like, yeah, you want to place an umbrella with some chairs, you can do that. Want to place some buildings down, the stamps allow for that. Place a water tower with all the pieces in all ready for you. Just do that. Traffic light. Sandy beach. Bridges, like, and the trees are the worst thing to set up by hand in this game. So, like, yeah, the stamps help, like, automate a lot of tedious stuff for scenery. So you can just be like, you know what, I want a tree there. So you open up the stamps toolbox, place the tree. Tree is done. Get back to making the geometry for the stage. Just, yeah, easy peasy. Now, let's see here. Now we can have the upper path, and hopefully, like, this is an interesting thing for people to run into. Okay, it's pretty clear I'm gonna need to like make a path system here with this. So like, delete this, then have oh no, that looks weird. Yeah, we can just, or maybe I just need to here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Sometimes with the way you set these things up, like you have to space them out just right. Otherwise, like the player's inputs can like break your setup. Okay, and that's probably the extent of it. You don't have to make these things too elaborate. Oh, we're nearly touching the ceiling too, so let's go ahead and put some scenery. Just what kind? Oh yeah, that's right. Once I get to map 2 for this stage, I want to like incorporate all the bamboo and grassy stuff. That's going to be fun to play with as well. I forgot I had bamboo to work with. Yeah, we can use like all the grassy stuff for map 2 to make it feel distinct from map 1. Oh yes, and in fact, like after this little area is through, we can have the characters crash to another temple that's like more complex than the first one. And then when they exit out of that temple, then like we're touching the edge of the map and need to go to map 2. Because yeah, look at how much space we have left to work with, not too much. Like, you would be amazed how much video game you can fit in this space, like, for real. But at the same time, like, yeah, this is like literally the limit. I intentionally limited the canvases to be 16 pixels wide at max, because like, that's how big a typical map is in Freedom Planet 1. Like, one of the things that helped progression feel so good in Freedom Planet 1 is like there's like these transition points throughout the level, so it's like, okay, like there could be anywhere from 3 to several transition points. So you feel like, okay, I've established that I've not only made a good checkpoint here, like I'm making progress, I've moved through a significant chunk of level. Like by not making it too continuous, like you feel like you're getting closer and closer to the end. Like you can piece together in your head how this level is partitioned out. So it helps with the pacing, I think, a little bit. Like the more you play the game, the more in later levels you start to see like, okay, I think I'm getting closer to the boss now, just because of all these little transition points. And at most, like, the maps go about this big in Freedom Planet 1 for that reason, because, you know, they need to, like, stop at certain points. I think it was also a technical limitation, because, you know, in Click Team Fusion, like, you know, the more objects you have in any given map, like, the worse your performance is going to be, even if you have, like, a good camera and activation system. And Spark 1 has a lot of those issues as well. Like, people have found lots of just junk terrain tiles, like, outside the boundaries of the camera, like, just lots of messy stuff that really slows down those massive levels. And Freedom Planet 1, like, helped keep its performance reasonable within the limitations of Click Team Fusion by just keeping the rooms a certain size, so that no matter how, like, even an unoptimal map would still run performatively in Freedom Planet 1, just because of the size limit. It's pretty smart. And that's why a lot of potatoes could still play Freedom Planet, even before Chowdern came along and made it run even better. Like, Freedom Planet 1 is really battery friendly now. It's great. And it runs on Linux and Mac and all the other things. Just Chowdern's was great, but you know, it's not like the game ran poorly before that update, at least. Like, it's probably one of the better running Click Team Fusion games. And creative limitations like that helped, I think. So we're just kind of like replicating that here. And also, we do have a technical limitation of our own with these maps, because like With GameMaker Studio 1.4's tiling system, like literally if you place more than 16,000 tiles, no matter how big or small they are, if you place more than 16,000 tiles, the frame rate is going to drop to like by 20, like down to 20% of what it should be. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like there's just a choke point in the tiling system like that. So like keeping maps limited to this size helps prevent players from making the stage is so big, and I wonder like why their levels don't run nice. Like there's lots of little hidden ways you can prevent that from happening. And also, I do still have a tile limiter here. Like that's what this whole meter here is for, to limit, like just to let you know, like, hey, you placed 16,000 tiles, you might want to delete a couple of these, or your stage's frame rate is going to drop to half. just a fair warning. Like it's very important. That's an important consideration with like making anything software related, is to prevent the user from hurting themselves. Like that's very, very important. Because if you can like be self-destructive while using it yourself and not even mean to, then somebody else is going to run into that problem as well. So yeah, that's right. I have a stage to make. I'm podcasting. Like I need to make video game too while I'm doing this. But yeah, that's why that hard limit is there. Prevent people from running into performance problems. With GameMaker Studio 2, now rebranded to LTS, like you can just have as many tiles as you want now. They've completely overhauled the tile system. It's a completely different animal and very difficult to get my head around, but it's they specifically wanted to address the choke point in the legacy tiling system. Like it was just such a huge problem, and they really wanted to address it, which meant like just throwing away the old legacy system, sadly. The legacy tiling system they've had for 20 plus years that I knew in and out, and just had to go because, well, people with bigger games are running into performance problems with this thing, so we've got to do something about it. And that's fair, but there's just a tiny little creature in my brain that is just screaming at like 300%. Like, even the best of us don't like change. We have to be honest with ourselves about that. We really do. Like, even when I first like opened up GameMaker LTS for myself to like work on the Shaming Architect launcher and prototype the next project, more or less, because yes, I will be using GameMaker for that too. And I immediately started customizing the interface to be like the old GameMaker, because yeah, just that tiny little creature was screaming like, no, we cannot have the asset tree on the right. That is heresy. Just that little creature was just screaming. Just no, do not want. Do not want that. I'm still trying to convince myself to use Ace Sprites. Like, just get over the fact that the toolbar is on the right. I'm sorry, it's not on the left. Like I'm used to. Like every art tool I've ever used, like all the tools are on the left, not the right, and it just and the fact that I can't move it is like the whole reason I'm not using it right now. Like I'm terrible. It is such a great art tool that would make my pixel art so much cleaner and more streamlined to produce, but just do not like change or something. Just I'll get over it eventually. I always do. Like I felt like I was using Krita with my feet at first. Like it was just such a new thing to me, but now it's like one of my most comfortable art tools to use. Yeah, I say that a lot to myself, Argo, in real life. Just do not want. Like that is one of like the old legacy memes that have still stuck to me. Just that particular phrase. It's so evergreen and true and relevant, as always. Oh, just want this to be consistent. There we go. I cheated to put a hang bar there. But why do we need a hang bar there, brain? We don't. No, we don't. Okay. Oh yeah, I could put a loop here. That'd be fun. Be a lot of fun. So we can have this. Love me a good loop. Freedom Planet is like really skinny on these because like I was trying to like avoid comparisons to Sonic, even though it happens anyway. But I was trying to like avoid most of them. So like loops are just kind of a rare event. Like when you see one, it's like, ooh, I'm making stage progress because I'm running through a loop now. Like just that's pretty much the pattern. If you see a loop, you're doing stuff. Oh no, there is no escaping it. I've recently looked at like the comments for the Switch trailer on YouTube. Like people tell you, no, please don't look at the comments. That is such a dumb idea. Just you're just hurting yourself and you know it. And yeah, it's kind of true. But there were like lots of people who, oh, not lots of people. That's hyperbole. I need to say that lots, a lot less. I really do. But there were some people in the comment section who were like, just obviously comparing it to Sonic. Like, what is this Sonic bootleg? This is like a weird looking Sonic game to me. And then there were the people who's just like, Lilac looks too human to me. It's creepy. Just, oh no. There is no winning. I still find that comment particularly funny, but it is kind of interesting too if you just like cut out the the childish part of it. It's like, that's true. Like, Flatback doesn't have like a particularly animalistic face, nose and jawline like the other characters do. Like, if you look at Mila, she's got a big old dog nose and dog ears and walks around like a dog. Just like, if you play the game enough, you can intuit that she is dog. You look at Carol, she's very obviously a cat. She's got all the stripes, the fur patterns, the tufts on the side of her hair, and big old cat ears. It's pretty obvious what she is. And you look at Lilac's face, and it does make me think about like a lot of Goofy characters in the Goofy universe that just basically look like humans with like animal noses. Just I guess I can kind of see it. At the same time, though, it's just, if you change a character to design, some people are just gonna have that reaction. There's no way around it. Like, they completely changed the character designs and to get away from the Sonic comparisons. Still being compared to Sonic. And now it's like, oh no, Lilac's too human. I just thought that was such a funny comment, personally. Just extremely funny to me. If y'all don't see it that way, that's alright. Just, oh yeah, I've definitely seen that too, like, you know, people saying like Sonic ripped off Dragon Ball Z and Star Wars and things like that. But if you think about it, the references are pretty respectful. Like, you know, when Sonic goes Super, it is an extremely rare event. You basically have to go out of your way just to even experience the game like that. And it's like a reward for beating the game. It's like, oh, here, we'll just let you go all Goku on this game just for fun. You know, so I think that's pretty nice. Like, they don't go too hard on the Super thing usually. Like, I think Sonic Unleashed is probably a rare exception because they started off with him being Super, and then Eggman figured out how to make him unsuper, and Sonic was not happy about that. Just... Oh, yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that comment for FP1 Lilac as well. Yeah, but if you end up liking a character, yeah, you can kind of get over that. Yes. I suppose I can kind of see it. Just look at her right now. She is anime girl with horns and pink face. Just and those big old bug eyes to be extra cute. Just look at her. Look at the big old cutie. Just boop. Just boop her nose. Mila can react to that in the stage select screen. Just boop her nose. So, let's see, I'm just reading your comment. Oh yeah, Freedom Planet 2, like, no doubt has more references to Dragon Ball Z. Just even the vocal direction is like very like a lot of the characters kind of yell like Dragon Ball characters a lot. Just which, you know, it's kind of funny because, you know, there's a lot of like actual Dragon Ball actors who have voiced for the game. So like Dawn is in Dragon Ball. Chris Sabat, you know, which like I'm trying to remember which character he voiced, but he's in Dragon Ball. He voiced Ascal, and just, and I know there's a couple others too. So there's lots of Dragon Ball actors who very much have probably brought some of that energy to FP2, but just inescapable. I don't think that's wrong. Maybe we could have had a little less yelling, just maybe, but I'm not complaining about that, honestly. Like that's like like peanuts. Peanut shells on the floor to me. That's why we call some arguers the peanut gallery, because, you know, just low quality opinions, people who throw peanuts at things. And we can't escape that all of us have a low quality opinion or two, but, you know, the internet is just drowning in them. Inescapably so. Oh yeah, I got an idea. Yeah, I didn't think of the Dragon Girl description like that before. Just as like a bit of an indirect acknowledgement. Yeah, it's basically a human girl with dragon traits. It kind of adds up now. Yeah, and that's good to hear, Creeper. They still liked it. Like, I think more people need to realize that, you know, nobody is ripping off for the most part. Like, any honest piece of media is going to reference other media. That's just inevitable. You can't get away from that. Like, we're all products of our environment, and the media we consume is part of our environment. Just, I think that's important to consider. Like, yeah, you could say that, they're ripping off Dragon Ball, but a tasteful reference or two is like a very respectful thing to do, really. Like, it's kind of nice to see, like, even to this day, like, lots of old movies are still referenced and parodied and kind of live on as if having a second life of sorts, just because of the inspirational impact of that media. Yeah, and that reminds me, a lot of people have been saying, Toriyama had a big influence in more industries than we realize. And yeah, the more I think about that, yeah, that's true. Because as we were just talking about with Sonic, having like Dragon Ball Z stuff, like, yep, that's Toriyama. He influenced Sonic one way or another. Can't escape that now. And Freedom Planet now has traces of Dragon Ball in it too. Yeah, just yeah, he's just impacted multiple industries in a way. It's very interesting to think about in retrospect. And maybe just a little sad in a way, because I guess it would have been nice if that was acknowledged during his life. But I mean, we don't go through life, wondering who's still gonna be around or not next year. Just an idle lament, pretty much. I'm guessing that's because of Sonic, isn't it? No, that's right. I don't have an enemy that pops out of waterfalls. You just gave me an evil idea. Because that would be so funny. We could have like a Star Flounder variant that goes, just goes up. And they don't hit you on the way up, because that would be totally unfair. Just like on the way down, then they hit you. That would be kind of funny. I can take that idea. Right, let me write that down to the to-do list before I forget. I have a master to-do list that is like scary. Y'all don't want to see it. Implement. Waterfall leaping Star Flounder variant. Deals damage way down instead of also up. So there you go. You're on the list now. There you go. Suddenly Bouncer. Oh god, the Bouncer popping out of a waterfall would probably scare some kids. Oh my god, that I almost want to go back and add that to Toxic Tunnel. Just like have him harass you by jumping out of a waterfall and then leaping away or something. Just that is just a funny thing to think about. Now, let me place some enemies down. I'm going to make use of the space we've created. So, now, here's our time for the ring hammer to shine. All he does is just basically do that, so like if you just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, you get hurt. Just a fun tanky enemy to defeat. But, it's pretty good for world building because he's like basically a mining robot in a mining town, so it fits. Now let's have a little bit more of a challenging enemy here. Oh yeah, I need to add a wasp nest to the object list as well. wasp nest gimmick. Now we gotta have a wasp nest spawner. We've got to, because oh my god, that would be so fun to play with. You know what? We can have the wasp here instead of the stinger. Is he low enough to scamp the player? Yes. What makes him different is that he'll repeatedly sting you if you're just like waiting for him to go away. Oh, world building is great, isn't it? That we have this little rascal. Let's see how like avoidable he is. Oh, I got an idea. I could be evil and like play something there to stop the player in their tracks so they have something to push away. And then the stinger's like, I see you. Freedom Planet is an evil platformer. We can get away with that here. We can be a little mean. Wonder if this will work though, because players can like push objects really quickly though. Oh yeah, this can work some of the time. It's like depending on his position, he could absolutely be a jerk. Yeah, with like very careful positioning even. It's like, yeah, just place him within the general area of this thing. Oh yeah, you wouldn't fall for it now that you know the trap. But for a beginning player... oh, here's a better idea. Oh my god, I can be a little evil sometimes. Just a little bit. No, wait, this is like too obvious of a spot for this thing. Let's, oh, better idea. Can place an earth shield here. This would be a relevant sort of shield to have in this kind of area because, yeah, this is going to be a mining town with lots of crystals everywhere. So, yeah, this would be a very advantageous shield to have once I do a gems pass for the stage. Ooh, shiny shield. Oh, I'll just. Now he can be an absolute menace. Well, it's still too obvious of a spot for it, so what I could do instead... I think this would be the least mean thing to put here, because like obviously like if the player is getting damaged a lot, like they could at least be getting some healing before this thing decides to troll them some more. Because, you know, getting trolled by an enemy like that would be kind of mean, so... Like, this is like the 4th stage in the game, too. We can't be that mean yet. We can't. Oh. And we'll just have another one up here for good measure. No, wait, that's right. These are supposed to be standalone units. Oh, we got the wrong description. On display here, so... Yeah, it's like I said here in the description box. Its increased strength and flight speed allow it to act as a standalone entity, so we need to treat it like that. You gotta have lots of little rules when you're making stages. You gotta be consistent. And, oh yeah, that's right, since, yeah, I did want to avoid using water for this stage, but, I don't know, like, yeah, we could still have, like, some water for the Saw Flounder to show up. Wait. I should probably save Saw Flounder for the beach stage. Yeah, that would probably be the best opportunity to introduce him. And the Whelk Blaster, we can just kind of like put him anywhere. In any level, so yeah, we can just have him hanging out over here. Wait. Another consideration is like never put enemies in places where you can just run past them without much consequence. Like, one thing I like about Freedom Planet is, you know, you can just kind of, you don't want to engage with an enemy, you can just dodge them if you want to. But they still need to be like, still needs to be a compromise. Like, you can't like place a bunch of enemies in spots where the player can just run past all of them as if they don't exist, and you know, what's the point of even fighting them, you know? Whereas here it can feel like, you know, their existence here can like, you can still skillfully run around them if you prefer, like, and if you have freeze frames turned on, you can get better speedrun times by avoiding them and being a pacifist. But you can't make it too trivial to run around them. Not too trivial, anyway. And that's why I don't want to make enemies with, like, contact damage too much, because, like, that gets really annoying. Because, like, when an enemy's entire purpose is just to harass you and to kill your momentum, like, yeah, that's just kind of annoying. Like, any Sonic fan will tell you that is, like, absolutely heinous. That is not fun. So, yeah, like, just pretty much anywhere you put an enemy, you just have a little thought into it. And one thing I probably won't do is like spam enemies everywhere. Maybe in the final level, like, I'll have some enemy spam, like Final Dreadnought 3 style, but for the most part, like, just try to keep them on the light side. And he's not a very obnoxious enemy, so it's not like going to be too crowded to also have to deal with a properly annoying enemy like him. And we did rename this little guy, because, you know, I thought, like, you know, the internal name for this enemy is the Ghetto Blaster, and when you first see it, it's like, it's kind of funny. And then you think about it, it's like, no, actually, this is not very funny at all. Why don't we, like, give it a description that, like, a name that, like, describes the species, you know? So that's what I did. I picked a snail, like, called the Whelk, and called it Whelk Blaster, which I think sounds pretty cool. Like, it's short, it's sweet, it's to the point, it describes what kind of snail he is, even. And he blasts. That's what he does. No ghetto blasting for you. It's just there is I don't think I even need to say why that's a problem. Okay, let's look at comments real quick. Yeah, sorry, Kuyo. I'm just looking at your comment now. One thing you like about 2D platformers is when the platforms look like they logically exist and doesn't really make sense. It really shined in Shantae. Yeah, I do like making most floating platforms look like they're supported by something, where possible. Sometimes you have to have a video game moment and just put something floating in the middle of nowhere for the sake of cleanliness and all. But yeah, it feels more grounded when things are like attached to something. And again, it does help you orient yourself in the world itself, because, like, you know, in 2D platformers, your perspective is limited to looking at a sideways view of the world, and that is a very limited way to look at things, you know. So the most like, it's very difficult to have any way to orient yourself like you would in 3D. So having more scenery pieces like this also helps make the world easier to navigate, because you're not making a lot of blind jumps, because, like, you can better judge the distance, speed you're traveling, and things like that, because you can see things going past you. And when it's implemented in a clean way, like it really, it makes everything feel more grounded and all. Yes. Let's see. Alright, so, oh yeah, that's right. Let's add some scenery to this too. So, oh yeah, and I'm forgetting I wanted to add more spikes to the stage. I really held back with the first two stages. I do not want to be mean with spikes just yet. But now we can. We can have a little fun with that. In fact, let's have a little fun with that right now. You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge these spikes. Okay. No, can't have two of them in a row. Just to have a little fun with people. Like, okay, if you're like going fast enough, you'll avoid that just fine. See? Just like that. And if you took it slower... Oh, sorry. Just... Yeah, I could stand to like put something there just to make people feel less bad about it. So it's like, you get that initial anger spike from, oh my god, that just hurt me. That is so mean. Like, wait, ooh, candy. Ooh. Oh. Like, just, I try to design levels around the human emotional component too, just, yeah, sometimes this chest can drop a lot of petals, like, mostly it drops gems, but occasionally you can cash out on some petals too, which is nice. Making it random does kind of help too, because it's like, you're not always guaranteed to get some healing stuff out of it, but it's very satisfying when some do come out. And there is a strong bias in the RNG for the treasure chest for like gems and stuff, but I wanted to be sure that it was still possible for petals to come out at all, so yes, it should be fine. Then, let's just like have a video game moment right now. Just put a rock there. And again, it helps you orient yourself in the world. And there's something to go for. So, yeah, here would be a good spot for the shield. See? There we go. Now we've got something desirable to put there. And you can just see it out the corner of the camera. So, an astute player would be like, wait, I see treasure. And they'll go for it. Hopefully. Now, like, you can only build stages around player expectations up to a certain point, honestly. Because, when people are presented with the option to do exactly what they want, instead of what the developer wanted them to do, they're going to do it. I just watched a video today about, that one video where the guy is just putting everything into the square hole. Like, literally everything. Ooh, rectangle, square hole. Circular piece, that goes in the hole too. Triangle, we could put that in there too. And the lady is just losing her mind. Like, oh my god, like, just... that, which is a very true feeling for game development, because people will do that. They have the option to make a persona-shaped hole in the wall like themselves. They're gonna do it. Wile E. Coyote style. Never count out human creativity with anything you do. Just don't. And if you didn't account for it the first time, well, that's okay. That's what patches are for. You can be like, okay, because all of you were doing this, we're going to make it like this. Like, not to make a boss or anything more unfair, just, be more, like, supportive of the player's habits, pretty much. Like, okay, apparently most of you were playing level this way, so now we're going to make it the layout accommodate your setup more in a way that's less annoying. Or if the cheese strat was like way too good, like, okay, no, we can't let you have something this easy to trivialize. So, my opinion of a lot of speedrunning in tech is like somewhere in the middle on the gradient. Like, you know, with Sabrina's logic with speedrunning stuff, like she will allow it, but only if it's literally impossible for a casual player to do. It has to be literally impossible. It's like you have to like really try to learn some of the techniques for Freedom Planet speedrunning, basically. If it's completely impossible for a casual to run into that themselves, like, that's okay. She would still prefer like that not be there at all, but you can't fix every bug in a game or you'll just go insane. You can't stop and fix everything. So that's the pragmatic solution. Okay, a casual cannot figure this out at all. We're good. You can keep that. I'll worry about other things, you know, which is a very economical solution. And I'm like somewhere in the middle. Like, she's far more leaning in that direction, and I'm in the middle where it's like, okay, if a casual is not going to figure this out, like, yeah, sure, just. But I'm not like, no, it must not be impossible for them to figure out. Just like, if somebody's not going to see it on their first run, it's probably okay, or the first or the second run. That'll be alright, but if, you know, it's something people can intuit after like their 8th run or something, then yeah, I'm still okay with that. Just because I think it's kind of fun to allow a game to have a skill ceiling that is beyond the player's intuition when they first experience games. Like, oh, this game's pretty fun. I like what's going on here. Like, then you realize there's more to it on your second or third run. Like, oh, this game lets me do some stuff. This is fun. Yeah, like sequence breaking and like Pirate's Curse, Shantae Pirate's Curse is so much fun. It's like you could just be like just a complete goblin with the normal game progression, and and that's fully supported. Like, the quality assurance testers specifically worked out like certain routes and things like that, and WayForward figured out like what routes they wanted to keep and allow. So yeah, there's a lot of wiggle room to do fun things, and I just love games that let me do that. I mean, it's just so much fun. That's why I enjoyed learning Freedom Planet speedrunning tech too, because it's like, yeah, it's like really difficult to get your head around, but once you figure it out, it's like, oh my god, this is so satisfying. I'm only playing this stage this way now. It's fun. I like fun. You know, just that's my rationale, at least. Of, you know, just nobody's gonna see it on their first or third playthrough. Yeah, we can keep that one. We've got bigger bugs to squash. Whereas like Sabrina, you know, Creator Freedom Planet's like, no, we literally can not let somebody figure this out on their own easily. Hence why there's lots of speedrunning resources for Freedom Planet. So if you do want to learn how to break stuff, there's tutorials. And I think that's a fair compromise. Like, okay, there's some stuff in here you can break if you're willing to try it. Like, yeah, the game's not going to stop you. It can't. Wait, let's... Oh my god, you just reminded me. Yes, I did add a rock NPC. But not in the normal way. Like, here's how I did it. I made the emote for the sign also be a rock. So yeah, you can be like, oh my god, I'm gonna use it. This is like too funny. I want to put it somewhere in a corner that's less obvious. Just to be funny. Here we go. I still love the pushable rock and an Undertale that talks to you. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, sweet partner, do you want me to move this way? Oh wait, no, that way. And they just kind of have a long deliberation with you, as if to get on your nerves on purpose. But they talk real sweet to you. Here we go. Let's just have a moment. I want to scare a streamer with that now. There we go. Thanks, Creeper. We got a dumb little Easter egg for somebody to find. Alright. Yes, let's get back to making the level. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's about to be 7 o'clock. Around like 7, I'll end the stream and eat, and then continue the stream on Discord so that y'all can join the conversation in voice chat. That's basically what the compromise I figured out, because like, you know, maintaining quality control on the stream while also having a live chat is it's very difficult, and sometimes like I just don't want to have any, like, a whole bunch of stuff I have to worry about editing out with the VOD. So like I figured out, like, the future streams I may want to like have a friend on the couch, so to speak, just like one friend on voice chat to chat with me while I do these streams, because like this is pretty exhausting for my voice. As you could probably tell, the quality of my voice is degrading a bit as I chat. So it'd give my voice a lot of opportunities to rest, because it would be resting between responses to me. A friend I can trust not to joke about drugs and other fun things, you know, just like, I'm not super concerned about quality control on a casual developer stream. It's just like I don't want a bunch of weird stuff that doesn't reveal out of context outside of the stream. So, especially, you know, when it comes to in-jokes, like, you know, we all make them, we all have them, and that's okay, but you don't want to have like that Bug's Life moment where, you know, that one of the characters hands a rock to like one of the circus people, and it's just like, oh, it's an ant thing, and you're just like, well, I still don't understand it, but okay, you know, you don't want to have moments like that on a stream. Unless, you know, an in-joke is so good that even outside of its original context, it's just very funny and transformative. Then you've got something special. But I don't know how applicable that is to, like, a lot of community in-jokes. Well, friend group in-jokes, either community in-jokes, they do tend to be like bigger than yourself things. That's pretty nice. And enough people get it that it is funny. Even if nobody does outside a particular niche, but oh well. And so we have this. Ooh, and yeah, it would be fun to like launch somebody with this. So let's do that. Just launch them up. Like, sometimes it's really fun to be launched like well above the range of the camera. Like, you're going so fast you literally can't perceive how fast you're going. Oh, Lilac, you're so silly. I never figured out how to get the ramp launching system to behave the way I want it to, because ideally it should like keep the player in a very static position after they launch from a slope like this. But I think in Freedom Planet anyway, like that is more lenient, whereas in Sonic it's like, you know, the character is going to go up quite a bit before you have horizontal control again. Okay, so yeah, I think that was probably the limit I ran into. Because yeah, Freedom Planet is a lot more mechanically flexible than Sonic. It's one of the things that drew me to it, is like, wow, the movement in this game feels so good. It's still like kind of slippery in some ways, but it feels like very precise, and you can spend more time enjoying the combat and movement than worrying about like whether you meet the speed requirements for this loop, you know. Pretty nice. The only thing that's been like a real challenge is Lilac Dragon Boost. Like it is like a nightmare to program for, and just and a nightmare to design bosses around because it's like, God, players have this impressively overpowered tool to just like destroy a boss with a decently sized hitbox. So it's like, and I've recently come to the conclusion that no, I shouldn't like design my bosses around like needing to punish the Lilac players for doing the thing, because like none of the other girls really have a tool that is just so efficient at destroying things. Like, you just kind of have to let the high-level players have their cheese strat. It's like, yeah, if you really know how to Dragon Boost and do movement like this, like, yeah, you're going to have a lot of fun destroying things. And that experience will be somewhat unique to you, because, you know, most casual players don't know Lilac can be that flexible in our movement systems. So it's better to, like, not design bosses specifically to punish Lilac for existing. Like, yeah, I'm still going to have like a couple of motions here and there to throw off a Lilac player trying to camp on her box, but only specifically her. Like, you know, Carol, Mila, and Spade, like, you know, they don't have a move that is so effective at destroying bosses like that. Well, except maybe Carol's wild kicks, but that's very limited by the amount of stamina you have. Very limited. You can only do so much with that. Oh, that's right, we can have these on the ground too. That might be more fun. Let's try that. I think if you put it close enough to the ground. Whoa, whoa. In fact, it overdid it. Lilac flying. I think one way I can correct for this is like have this right here. Oh no. That way, yeah, that way it's not as pronounced. Yes, there we go. Oh yeah, boosting it to space is so much fun, isn't it? In fact, let's put that down here too, because that would be a lot of fun. Gimmicks, boosting. How far into the ground is it? Not too far. Basically, about where the Hyper Rings gemstone is. So. Might also have to delete that rock, because yeah, you don't want cluttered scenery. This is remove rock. Yeah, and then you're stopped by the pedal, but if you're like attacking while running, like that's not going to be an issue. That's why I like destructible solid objects, because like, you know, if a player really doesn't want, like the player knows a stage layout pretty well, they want to just go fast, like giving them the ability to just destroy something as they're moving will help a lot with that. So now a Lilac player can just like go fast there. That's kind of like another point of complexity with stage design in this game's case, is like there's a like you also have to like think about like, ooh, how is like a high level play gonna look too, but you can't always account for it. People will find ways to break your stages. They're just gonna do it. They're gonna find a route, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, how did you like completely tear my level apart? How did you do that? Just again, never doubt human creativity. So, what can I do to make the scenery compelling here? That's right, we do have bamboo in this tile set, so just have There we go. Lantern plants. Yeah, but I need to place them like where they're not going to be like cluttersome. Something to do with crates. That sounds about right, Argo. There we go. That's fine. Yeah, speed strats, they're important too. Like, you don't always have to consider high level play with your stages, and people will find ways to break it anyway. But you know, sometimes it's fun to like just double check, like, how fast could somebody realistically go through this area? Also, yeah, we need walls here. So, just gonna grab this, perhaps. I'm not gonna try to limit people's fun too much. Just need to mitigate some things. Another reason I've been like really cautious about using the zoom out mechanic is because like you have to place a lot more tiles outside the view, and that really eats into yeah, the tile limit. Yeah, so. Oh yeah, we could have all kinds of fun with like boosting. And we do have zip lines too. I was going to introduce them in map 2. Oh no, I could introduce them in the next temple that we're about to go to before the end of the level. Yeah, so that's a good idea. We can have our zipline gimmick like inside the temple. A nice little safe space with an enemy or two. And then, like, once you transition outside the temple into the next map, then it's like, oh boy, now you get to have all kinds of fun with that. And, oh yeah, I want to, like, have some scenery here, too. No, it wouldn't make any sense for just a random snowman there. And that's right, we do have this that we can use. That'll keep it somewhat grounded. Somewhat. And oh, yeah. No, like the you're thinking of Dreadbox Argo, but if y'all don't know, it's that one unintended mechanical quirk of Sonic Worlds that Freedom Planet uses for its collision system. Like if you like clip between two pieces of terrain just right, you can go like zip left to right or up through terrain. So like, say if you got Dreadbox working with a crate in Freedom Planet 1, you could like zip straight up here as if none of that solid wall existed. Just straight up here. Whereas in this game, it's like the collision system is completely different on purpose, and like basically there's crushing conditions if you enter a space where all 4 collision sensors are being activated at once. Like in editor mode, you're going to get lots of warnings that you cannot enter spaces smaller than 32 pixels. Whereas in gameplay mode, you're going to die in that scenario. Just so it like immediately puts players in a nearby checkpoint and gets them out of that spot. I probably wouldn't be that mean in my next game, honestly. It was a particular creative decision I just left in. It's like, well, the consequences for zipping in this game are much worse than Freedom Planet 1, like, not quite as useful as they would be in Freedom Planet. So it's just better to crush the player and let them respawn than deal with whatever personal hell they're about to enter by going through these things. Well, that should look artistically interesting. Should. Can you even see the second tile down there? Kind of. So it's worth keeping there. Yeah, that's right. I did add a mechanic where the moment the player respawns, like, it will destroy nearby items some of the times. That way they don't get stuck inside of a box. Freedom Planet 2 did something similar. It's like, okay, I'm stealing that. That's a good idea. That's what we do. When you're a game developer and you see a working solution to a problem you were also facing, it's like, yeah, I could do that as well. Like, why reinvent the wheel? Like, Pirate Software recently had an example where it's like, you're reinventing the wheel with a triangle. Like, no, you really don't want to do that. Like, inventing a new solution that is probably not very viable. I do much prefer solutions that other people have tried and tested pretty much. Like, look, they've already figured it out. They've made it work. Like, why do I need to find some new obtuse way of doing it myself? Just, we don't have to do that. Let's see, so I just didn't want somebody to look down and see some holes in the train. I need to figure out what goes down here too, because yes, I made this decision and we gotta live with the consequences of it now. Oh, easy. Maybe don't have the player go too far down. That would be obnoxious for getting back up, so yeah. Yeah, I think we're far enough in the game now that we can get away with having one death pit. Don't y'all think? Just have like one pit that's just like, you fall here, you die. In fact, I do have a kill plane, so yeah, we can do that. We can be extremely mean. So here we go. Just, oh yeah, that's right, I don't have to place too many things. Let's go to advanced. Yeah, I didn't quite call it a kill plane, though. I called it a respawn plane. Because, you know, this is the friendly Freedom Planet game where, you know, nobody actually dies. Just, you know, it's a spin-off game. We don't have to have high stakes, so the plot isn't high stakes to reflect it. We just have, you know, everybody gets KO'd when things happen. Just kind of brush off the gruesome reality of these things. Although it probably would be helpful to have, like, some kind of indicator that this is bad. You don't want to fall down here. So, what can I do? Ooh, now there's an idea. No. What can I do to imply that you really don't want to fall down there? Oh yeah, that's right. It doesn't work in test mode because the death condition is not something you want to trigger. in the editor. Very bad idea. You know, again, do not want. So, how do I imply that this is a bad idea? Oh, I just got an idea. We could use camera lock. There we go. Have a really big camera boundary box. Just as big as the stage itself. Almost. See, there is always a stupid way to do it when you need to in a video game. And then place this thing at like nearly the end of the stage. Oh god. Go ahead and save in case I accidentally triggered the next map mechanism. Okay, no we did. So now we have this huge box that you can't go below. And if you do, you die. And I will need to place some flat floor tiles there so that you know, the player doesn't infinitely fall and break the camera too much. Because, you know, like, the camera will stop, will start following the player as they go down. Wait, that's right, I don't have a camera like Donkey Kong Country 2 here. We have Freedom Planet's camera, which is, like, you know, the camera just instantly stops following them when they die. Which is a pretty good approach. So yeah, just have this here so they don't fall too far. And for the advanced players who would be clever enough to try to skirt the death plane, we have to do this. We have to. People are clever, y'all. You have no idea. Do not let them do that. See how much trouble it is just to set up a death pit in a fair way? And yeah, that doesn't have to have complete coverage because we're like outside the camera. Yeah, classic indeed. And because like this fan game has like lots of generous checkpoints, like it won't be a big deal. So yeah, let's go ahead and place one before I forget. That way we have like already have some balance work done for checkpoints. Like, because it's easy to figure out the rationale you want for a lot of things. I mean, easy to forget the rationale you have for certain things being there. So, have this here, that there. And I guess we could do this. Might be cool though. Yeah, there's no nice way to put a checkpoint there anywhere before the death pit. But yeah, this should work now. In fact, let's go ahead and save it and make a copy of the map file. Because it's good to like have backups. Because like, no matter how good your file writing code is, crazy things can happen. Like sometimes, like if people save a map and if an object wasn't properly indexed in save array, yeah, like it will just crash the game and not save the map, and you lose the original file, and it's like no fun. So it's good to make regular backups of this file. So I'm gonna like just put it in my downloads folder. There we go. And we'll try out that part of the stage to see if the camera works around this properly. Turn the music back up. Let's give this a try. Oh, little Carrie. Hey, no cheating. Oh yeah, that's right. There's a setup I want to show. We really need a new background variant for this. I need to adjust the speed limit for those springs. That's pretty horrifying. Still. They shouldn't bounce you that hard. Also need to fix this bug. Because that should not be happening. Oh yeah, that's the ironic thing. Carol is the cheater here. Oh no, that's I think we have an issue with the camera setup I got. That's no good. Oh, I may not have set the top boundary box for it. I didn't. Yeah, that's an issue. Let's go fix that. Yeah, that works though. This setup is valid. And like, I try to be fair about this too. Like, this is something Freedom Planet 2 does as well in certain stages. Like, if you fall to your death, like, it just takes a petal away from you and respawns you. This is pretty nice, I think. And in my case, I extended that to crusher deaths as well. Like, you just lose a petal and you respawn. Like, punishing people for getting crushed by a collision bug is not fair. So I made it more fair by doing that. Whereas Sabrina kept the crushing in FP2, just like tried to make the conditions more flexible so that, like, you know, like if the camera is just, I mean, if a crusher is just like barely touching the outer boundaries of the player sprite, yeah, that would be unfair to crush you. So like, it basically has to be, a crusher has to pretty much be on top of your head to properly kill you now. Which is pretty nice. That works for me. Oh, my fart sound effects on Crush. That's horrifying. Why didn't a Wario Gamer 2 do that already? That's just, like, that is such a missed opportunity. Oh, that's right, we do have this. Oh, there's our problem. The death pit doesn't go far enough. Yeah, that's an issue. So, okay, it's not a bug with the game. It's a bug in my brain. Okay, so we need to make this go further down. Just a little bit. You never want death pits to like force people to like fall really, really far down. That is just really cruel. Because, you know, they have to wait to die before they can continue playing the stage, and that's just not fun. I'm glad most video games now, like, just don't allow for that now. Like, even Sonic Rush at least, you know, put a bunch of, like, laser crushers everywhere so that, I mean laser kill planes like this, so that you would just die when that happens, you know? Like, I guess they might have had some introspective about the stage design for Sonic Advance 3 because it did have a lot of opportunities to like fall to your death for like 15 seconds before you could get back to playing the game. That wasn't fun. And I guess they were like, you know, let's not do that again. Here we go. We'll just put lasers there. Yeah, that's how you're gonna die now if you go where we don't want you to. There we go. It also means we need more tiles here. And this one too, just for the gremlins who would try to explore where they shouldn't. And that'll do. I still don't like stuff out of bounds to look too ugly, at least. Because, you know, all of this can be opened up in the editor, so people will be able to see all the gross stuff I do. Okay, so now we have a death pit that we know will work, and will not conflict with the existing stage design. Also means I need to, like, make this area not a death pit, so, get some dirt tiles. Oh, yeah, that's right. Don't need music right now. We can do the Rad Racer 2 thing and be like, yeah, you're forced to hum now. Hum the classics to yourself, I guess. Oh wait, I think Rad Racer 2 did have music. Yeah, you just had the option to turn it off. Younger me was stupid and assumed it had no music at all. And I still remembered it that way for some reason. Just, human memory is so fickle. Now, so is my way of doing things. So, there we go. Alright. Now we have just an okay area. No dying here allowed. Yeah, I think the fact that this is just too powerful for that, so I need to, and that's too weak, so now I gotta have regular spring here. Just gotta figure out what the problem is instead of patching around it. And if anybody's like, ooh, what's this down here? And then Lilac screams. Oh my lord, I'm terrible. But yeah, I need to have like some implications that being down here is a bad idea. How could I do that? Ooh. You know, ironically, spikes can be a saving grace sometimes. So, it's like put these on the wall to be like, yeah, you don't want to be down there, buddy. Don't go down there. Death awaits you below, or something. What's down there is disappointment. Because I mean, that's what you feel when you fall down a death pit. It's like, aw, this is lame. You know? Okay, so. Then. So it doesn't look too bad. Then. Oh, we could have some Kaizo garbage down here. Like. Yeah, I heard you like suffering, don't you? Oh, enemies that are placed near death pits. Those are indeed the worst. At least in Freedom Planet, when you get hurt by enemies near a ledge, like you can do something about it. You know, Lilac, you know, if she gets hurt like that, she can just Dragon Boost or Cyclone and get out of the situation. She can recover. And Carol can do the same thing too. She just has to do this move. And Mila can just be like, I'm gonna just fly away from you. Spade can also do this. But, you know, in a normal platformer like Sonic, you know, it's an extremely mean thing to do. Because, like, you know, Sonic doesn't have that many ways to recover from these things when that happens to him. Yeah, Freedom Planet really doesn't have much in the way of death pits. Like, I think, like, Sky Battalion is one of the few where it's like you're on a floating a death pit. Like, an entire stage is taking place over a death pit, which is really fascinating. And, yeah, Ed Final Dreadnought 1, yes. I think 2 also had it. Dreadnought 2 also had a death pit just because the boss arena did. Like, pretty neat. Yeah, like Freedom Planet was really skimpy on them, which I appreciated. Like, Freedom Planet's in this weird spot where it's like, you know, much more reasonable platforming than most video games, and then the bosses just come in and rub their hands together like, oh, were you expecting a challenge? Oh, we can fix that for you, buddy. We can fix you up good. And they just, yeah, so. But, you know, that's kind of like the thing with a combat-focused platformer. It's like you gotta keep the platforming reasonable, because if both the platforming and the bosses are difficult, nobody's going to stick around for that. You can't have both the player getting assaulted on all ends you can imagine. Like, it's just not very appealing. And that's something that Freedom Planet 1 recognizes, as well as 2. Just kind of like concentrating most of the challenge around the bosses and certain, like, larger enemies. And, yeah, that's pretty much their deal. And of course, there's some Sonic fans who don't like that, and to them I say, well, that's your personal taste. You don't have to like any particular game. Like, there are literally thousands of new games to play every year. Just do what speaks to you. But yeah, just. But for me, I kind of liked some of the player movement being easier than Sonic. Just that's pretty nice, being able to platform very casually. You can just jump around like you would in Metroidvania. Just look at my Metroid brain being on fire right now. Just, like, this is all very easy in Freedom Planet. It feels good, and going fast feels good. You know, whereas in Sonic, you would just be like, oh, I had too many chili dogs. Oh, I've got to build up some momentum before I can go up there. Oh, okay, I made it. Oh no, I overshot it. I gotta try that again. Oh, just Sonic is just it's a very heavy platformer, and I do like that still. You know, just. But, you know, I do like just how snappy Freedom Planet is as well. And for the people who don't find it appealing, well, that's okay. But I know I like it. So. Oh, better yet, I could attach these to the scenery so it looks like they're attached to something instead of like, oh, here's random floating spike, have fun. You know, for the adventurous players who like going where they shouldn't, but, oh, there's stuff down there. And just be like, oh no. Just let them have fun, you know, hurting themselves. Oh, yeah, I need to put some stuff here. Can't have that now. So what we need is zaps so they can't. Oh my god. Sonic physics is hard to work with, y'all. So what I can do, more spikes. More spikes is good. This here like that. Okay, that ought to do it. Oh, no, not hard. Not flat. It needs to go higher. So. Oh no, I have to defy the pixel grid a little bit. Okay, there we go. Oh, no. Mila would sneak through that so easily. Just have that. So. Try to get. Okay, Lilac can't get through it, so Mila can't either. Now we can go back to the scenery pieces. Oh, well, that's not what I wanted to do. No. That'll do. Just grab this thing again. There, okay. And yeah, that's the idea. I'm going to put a treat there for somebody who does that. Yeah, slower paced platformers are good too. See, sorry, I do like me a little bit of Mega Man. Just like I both get the appeal of Mega Man and also like really struggle with it because like, you know, like the music is just so good, and you know the fan games have like really reasonable stage design. You just got to figure out the bosses, and that's fun for me. I kind of like classic Mega Man, and all the characters are really cute. Ever felt anything for, you know, the X series? Maybe I just need to dive deeper into it to see what the appeal is, because you know sometimes there are games out there that are like, you just need to give them a chance to see if you'll like them. You're not going to know if you'll like them until you try them. Like, that was me with Dark Souls. My cousins got me into that. And I was just like, you know, this game just completely murders you. Like, why did anyone think this is fun? And then you figure out all the stuff that the tutorials will take no time or effort to explain to you, and next thing you know, you were snorting all the lore and everything. It's just a good time. Like, you get it, you know? Oh, yes. We got spikes. And, now, I don't think I've seen that many modern games where Sonic even eats chili dogs. Now that you got me thinking about a creeper. I think the last time I saw him eating a chili dog was like Sonic and the Black Knight. I think that was it. And he didn't get to finish the second chili dog. Well, if you don't mind a little bit of pain and suffering, you can just do that. Oh yes, the spikes are definitely overloaded now. Oh wait, they did it in Generations too. I don't remember. There we go. Now we can put some goodies down here for the people who would even bother to try this. Just, here you go. No, this is probably too evil, but there we go. Just, yeah, if you can get down there without hurting yourself, there you go. But do be wary. I think I could probably use some scenery to imply that that is deadly. Don't go down there. What kind of scenery could I use to imply death? Well, lots of jagged rocks can do the job. Oh, and I do have a sign just for cliffs. So yeah, we could do that. Just have all this little world building stuff to tell you, yeah, don't do that, player. Don't do that. You will not like the result. I'll just like concentrate most of them around this area because this is where people are going to fall the most. If they do at all, of course. Lots of rocks down there. Just maybe put them a little bit further down so it doesn't stand out so much. Now we need to borrow a sign from the lagoon. Yeah. That way people can know, like, hey, maybe don't go down there. Maybe don't. And I'm pretty sure I put a wildcat on that picture. It's really hard to squeeze stuff onto signs that small. There's like an in-world sign being like, hey, there's danger down there. What do you mean there's danger? There we go. And a speed booster for good measure, maybe. Just throw one of these down here too. Because those are fun to pop. Oh lord. Who doesn't love popping those things? Then, fall. Just, I don't think I've heard of that one. Oh yeah, we could have a rock shield too. In fact, the rock shield is probably going to be the shield we want for this stage, because, like, look, you're surrounded by rocks. Oh lord, yeah, probably. Yeah, if we're going to be hiding shields anywhere, just put one like right here. That way for anybody who does like fall down, they can be like, oh, there's something down here. Shield. So I've got this one here for exploratory players. And got this fancy kill plane over here with all these goodies. And that's not counting the gems that I will add in Gems Pass. So, like, lots of little trails of gems. Be like, whoa, piece of candy down there. Maybe some booby traps too, but there's candy. Alright, so. Oh yeah, like. Oh, I could also be awful with the few safe places that are here, just like Yeah, if you happen to fall on this thing. Spike. Even your refuge is suffering. Or something. Can't say I'm the most quotable person on the planet. Alright, so. Yeah, but most players like aren't even going to see this part. They're just going to be like, "Ooh, look at this! Look at all this." Maybe the occasional player will come down here and be like, "Oh, there's stuff here," and then they die, and just, okay, maybe I don't want to go down there. Oh Lord! Now, oh, and I've realized I've streamed half an hour longer than I intended. But yeah, we're getting closer to like finishing map 1. Like typically, Shenmue Architects levels like split into 3 big maps for continuity's sake, and like with each individual map being smaller, they load faster too. That's one of the benefits of doing it. And oh, well, I hope I've made progress today. Hopefully, more coherent progress than last time. I feel like I didn't make that much progress the last time I worked on it. But last time I streamed it, rather, because I have been working on it, just kind of tweaking some things. Because you know, when you're not creatively happy with something, of course you're going to do stuff to it. So. Have this. Just to try to add a sense of scale to this area. And again, keeping people oriented as they navigate the stage. Lord, the laptop fan is kicking up again. But it does help that I've like turned off the psychoanalytical tuning or something like that. So like the apparent bit rate will probably look a little bit worse on the stream, but my laptop will be pushing to 70 Celsius when like encoding the stream either. So that was kind of my concern. What can I do? I upgraded to a laptop, so that is my price for it. Just felt like just kind of needed the mobility at this interim of my life. And it sure is nice still being able to work on stuff whenever the power does flip out. So, here we go. Yeah, let's patch this up as well. Try to vary this up so it doesn't look gross. And, oh, yeah, that's right. This is a... Yeah, that should be right. And for anybody who would happen to be exploring it here, I'll give them something. So... like, yeah, the player's still allowed to go like 64 pixels up, so if they go up here. Oh. No, I should say introducing the DNA cannon for Bay High Bay, or the fifth stage. Yeah, because I don't want to be too mean just yet. Like, I feel like the campaign's long enough that we can just kind of have a nice, gradual difficulty curve. Hopefully, it all depends on like how the game actually feels once it's in people's hands. That's the big thing. Sure is nice to see a brand new boss in the roster after a year of not making any new ones. Oh Lord. So you can just put a baby up here. That'll be the one thing they can have. If somebody happens to be goofing around up there, they'll get something. Of course, it'd be very hard to get up there without like infinite flying techniques like the game allows for, so. Probably could stand to allow for some of it though. Yeah, that's right, we have this pendulum as well, so it would be handy to have. Yeah, I may want that more than a normal platform here, so that. Now let's just get rid of that. We got a rock. Oh, okay, that's right, we have this little thing here. Oh yeah, we need enemies up here too, so if players go up there, they need to be introduced to probably the blaster as well. No, I'm gonna like place some enemy tiles so he cannot be too close to the ramp when players are flying up. Like that would be a huge problem. Like his hitbox goes really far. I would not want him to like hit somebody just as they're trying to get up there. You don't want to like kill people's speed too much. Oh, okay, well, even if he does hit you, it's not a big deal. You're still going to fly up just in a really awkward way. We can deal with that. Jeez, his hitbox is far out. Wonder if that's even reasonable. So. Oh, yeah, we can have like a nice Oh yeah, that's right. Just it's a very black and white profile, isn't it? Maybe I should change it to something more colorful. Maybe I could make it Libby again. That's okay though. And hopefully the VOD will be worth watching this time. Hopefully. Like I tried to fix my audio problems. And I still need to figure out like a noise gate setting that works for me. Because like it was cutting off too many of my words, so I just had to turn it off, even if that meant like some fan noise getting through with my voice. So I have player go down here. That should be fun. But you know, if this for a rock section, I barely used these tiles. I wonder if I could work these in somehow. I guess not. I could use these on map too, yeah, because like you can have like rocks and grass in plentiful quantity that way. You can do that. Yeah, my concerned be making a floor here. I don't have to break the grid just for this one thing, because like the transition system for flat surface tiles and slopes is it's both flexible and isn't. So it can deal with edge cases where this happens. Most Sonic physics engines can't. Of course, that doesn't make this one better, because like it snaps in some ways and doesn't in others. This is one of the ways where it overcorrects itself. And I don't know if I could ever fix that. There's a lot of things I do hope to fix in this fan game, like after the campaign is done, but for now it's like, oh that's rough. Have the player go down. Oh, yeah, we could do that. So. Oh, whoops. Wrong window. Now. Yeah, you could spend a long time making a stage. And there's probably 12 hours clocked in on this map already, and I'm nowhere near done with it. Like, yeah, there's already quite a bit of level when you look at it, but this is Freedom Planet, so the characters are going to be like, Neum, gotta go fast, Sonic X or some joke, and then next thing you know, they've already consumed all of this stage. Just like that. It's one of the challenges of making a game like this. Okay, you just gotta deal with that. Okay, then... Oh yeah, I could be super silly. And have a boost ring down here too. Or would that just be dumb? Let's try it. Oh, the physics won't even allow for it. Oh my god. Maybe it's better that some things are not allowed. Am indeed a silly goat. So then... Ooh, there's an idea. Just have the slope here. That'll be fun. Oh, whoops. This. Yeah, that way the player has options to dodge this thing. That should be fun. Oh, we do have an opportunity to use these now. Not much, but it's something. And then, because of some limitations in the collision system, put one of these down. For consistent clipping. And yeah, how do I want to... Oh, there we go. Make it fun. Just grab loop piece here. Oh wait, this is like too tall, so let's fix that. So slopes. Then have one of these here. So that's what I'll defer to then. Consistency. And there we have it. And oh, better idea. Have a maybe we could have a spring there. I'm not sure if the collision system will allow for it. Let's just try it. So oh, use this one. Much better. Let's try springs. Try a little setup. Oh, yeah. We've got some issues here. Gonna need to have it go up further for that to work. Have I'll figure out how to make it pretty later. We just gotta be sure the system works. Okay, much better. Now that we have a somewhat guaranteed arrangement. Oh, whoops. That's an issue. Oh, yeah, I gotta fix that too. That ought to do it. Nothing too fancy. Now that's more along the lines of geometric fun for your planet. The high path lets you have a little speed. It drops you down going fast too. Then, oh, I just realized it's almost 8 o'clock now. I should probably continue the stream on our Shamu Architect Discord server and conclude it on Twitch for now. That way y'all don't have too long of a VOD to look at on YouTube later. But yeah, it's almost 8 o'clock now. I thank everybody for coming to the stream. And I didn't mean to get sucked into level design so much today. I did mean to stop and work on some other things in the back end, but at least I was in the mood to like do this. Sometimes like you just get in a mood and a whole bunch of creative progress just happens. So y'all got to watch that today at least. Hopefully next time we'll have some more variety. So yeah. Thank y'all for coming. Let's do this again next Tuesday. How about that? I need to get a selfie light. It's dark in here now. Oh, bye.